Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to this video. Now in this video we're going to go through a scenario that I now need to do MTD. Let's say my business called QuickBooks Chap Consultancy now needs to go out there and submit quarterly returns to HMRC. Now before I go any further, let's just remind each other what that entails or why you would have to do that. Basically, MTD, Making Tax Digital, is all about you as a self-employed or rental owner and receiving rental income, having to not do that traditional tax return, which is once a year, and you go onto HMRC's website and you submit it from there. This is about you having to go into what's called Making Tax Digital. And what that means is instead of going into HMRC and submitting on one year, you're going to have to go in and submit quarterly returns to HMRC during the year. So each quarter you have to basically give them an update of where you are in your self-employed or rental income. Then you need to go in, and this is the painful bit really, you need to go in there and you need to actually submit everything via software and including your final declaration, which is your new tax return, directly in the software itself. So you've gone from being able to keep any sort of record you want. So it could have been Excel, it could have been paper, it could have been software, it could have been any of those bits, right? Now you're forced to have to use software and you'll have to go in and actually submit it via the software itself. So we're going to work together on this one and we're going to basically go from, I've just had an invite from QuickBooks to go and set up a brand new license, and I want to then go in and figure out how I'm going to submit that directly to QuickBooks itself, to HMRC itself. Join me on this one because this is going to be an opportunity for you to understand exactly how to get MTD working for you. Roll the intro. Hello everybody, my name is Aaron Patrick. I'm a Chartered Accountant, Certified QuickBooks Trainer. I'm better known on the internet as the QuickBooks Chap. I run the accountancy advisory group, including firms like Bookkeeping and BusinessWorks, and I spend most of my time helping businesses understand what's actually going wrong in their numbers and systems and then fixing it. And finally, I am also a podcaster who goes live each and every Monday morning for Ask the Accountant. Now, in my scenario, I have just received this email. This email is asking me to come and accept an invite for QuickBooks. So either you've gone on our store and been able to generate and connected to QuickBooks that way, or you've gone directly to QuickBooks, or an accountant like ourselves is giving you access to QuickBooks. One way or another, you're going to be receiving an opportunity to go and join QuickBooks. So using that, I'm going to get myself in there and I'm going to get myself connected in. I'm going to verify it's me and all that sort of stuff that you kind of expect to do. Okay then, so I've now got myself signed in. Here there's some really important things that you need to get done first of all before you can file on MTD. First of all, going into the accounting area, bank transactions, and using this bank option up here to attach your bank account. By far the most important thing is getting that bank account in there. Preferably, and I would highly recommend if you're not start doing it now, is having a separate bank account so you can get that information in there. But basically once you've got your attached information in, that data is going to start flowing through to there. And you can see here, I've already gone and categorized a load of my transactions for myself. Right, I've gone through that. Now, if you need help on categorizing, reconciling, and getting everything into QuickBooks, I've got loads of videos on that one, right? At this point, let's assume, though, that we've got the information we need to, right? I've been using this to raise invoices. I've been using this to be able to get the information in there. You'll see from here that if I go to my invoice area, I've got an invoice of £500. And that's basically going to form the income for this particular submission that we're going to make, right? So I know this is in there and I know that's what I'm expecting to see when I go to submit. I'm expecting £500 my income. And then if I go to my expenses, you'll see there's a £250 computer running costs item sat there as well. So I'm expecting £500 as my income, £250 as expense. So I'm expecting £250 to be my net profit that I'm going to be filing from here. Now, from there, I now have pretty much everything in place and I've done all my transactions directly on here. I'm in a good place. I feel like I'm ready to kind of get this submitted. Now for now, and I'm hoping this will change over time, for me to go in and use MTD, I need to get myself over to the browser area. So from the browser area, you will pretty much turn up into this page. It's really nice. They've got this new task area that's popping up for us. Don't need that at the moment. And everything you need is basically going to be in here, and it'll be a like for like, right? So there's that £53 in my bank, there's the £250 that I've made, there's my computer running costs, my income, everything should be synced beautifully to here. So I shouldn't have to be doing any kind of extra information to get to this point. I just need to log into the browser to be able to take it to that next step and file it. I'm then going to go to the All Apps and Income Tax and Overview. Now, you'll notice at this point that it's telling me what tax year I'm looking at, and it's telling me join your accountant for MTD. Now, the reason it's asking me to join there is because, yeah, my accountant in this case has gone and signed me up and got me all ready and waiting, but I actually have to go and do the last bit of steps myself. So I need to go, yeah, I'm happy with that, authorize QuickBooks, continue to HMRC. At this point, it's going to ask me for a bit of information. So I need to sign into HMRC. I'm going to use my government gateway and or your Gov1, and I'm going to put the information in to get myself signed in. I can either use the HMRC app to get an access code, which is actually quite a nice way of doing it. I do recommend that one, to HMRC, and the code just pops up on my thing, so it's quite a nice way of getting yourself access to it. Get myself in. Right. Now I need to prove that I am who I say I am. So I'll do a bit of an ID check, asking me what type of things I have. Do I have a valid passport? Which I do. And in this world, it's now asking to make sure that I've got one with a fancy little, fancy little NFC system on it. So I can play continue, use the passport and an app to prove my identity, continue. I'm now going to scan the app, do my ID check, press continue. Take a photo of your passport or photo page. Start. Get that photo in there. Scanning in progress. Photo taken. Wait. Continue. Continue. Now what it wants me to do is scan the chip. Submit my information. Scan your face with a selfie camera. Not sure why it's all kind of pixelated, but yeah, that's fine. Move photos close to the face. Okay, that's done. Very weird experience, that one. You're ready to exit gov.uk. You'll finish your confirmation identity. Return to gov.uk when it's open on your identity check complete. So I press the continue button. Allow, so give permission, and you're all set. Your income tax page will be updated. Now you can easily track your filing deadlines and digitally submit your quarterly updates on there. Now you'll notice my page has slightly changed now. And the reason it's slightly changed is now it's saying making tax digital enabled at the top there. We like that. It's giving me my breakdown. It's telling me my £250 because it's based on my 500. More importantly than anything else though, it's giving me my deadlines and when I need to make them. So basically by the 7th of August, I've got to submit my first update. So it's due in 118 days from the day of recording. And if I press submit update, I'm going to see what that process looks like. Now, there's a few things you need to get your head around with here. First of all, you need to make sure that you are just taking into account the fact that we're going to be doing accounting periods either from the 1st of April to the 31st of March. And during that process of update, I got to choose where do I want this to be. Do I want this to be the 5th of April to the 6th of April, or do I want it to be from the 1st of April to the 31st of March? My advice is that 1st of April to 31st of March. I just think you'll find it so much easier, right? You're using proper dates and period end dates and everything else like that. I think that's going to be the easiest way to get your head around it. If you are going for that, or if you're doing it any other way, just be careful that that 1st of April to the 5th of April doesn't get missed anywhere. That can be a really difficult bit to get your head around. So you want to be using kind of just going back to basics, looking at what's been there. The awkward thing is you won't have even submitted that period, right? Because that won't be due until 31st of January 2027. So it's always going to be a little bit of an awkward kind of position to be in, but you just need to understand and get your head around it and just make sure that that period's definitely been included. The other question you're going to need to be asking yourself is, do you want to run it up to the end of Q1 or to the year to date? Now, full disclosure, HMRC are going to see that year-to-date figures anyway. What that means is when you submit Q1, you'll just be submitting Q1, right? When you submit Q2, though, it's going to be Q1 and Q2 together. That then gets sent to HMRC. But the way that you get to see it and the way that you get to see what's being submitted, you have a choice of up to the Q1, then Q2, then Q3. So you'll be just seeing those quarters. Or do you want this always just to be the year-to-date figure? So it always being updated based on that whole year-to-date element that's going to be there. Now, for my preference, or what I would recommend you do, I would highly recommend that you work with what works for you. The year-to-date figure is what HMRC is going to see anyway. So if that's kind of where you want to have that more comfortable kind of element of, right, what is my tax return position as now in that cumulative figure? Perfect. Remember, HMRC's, that's what they're seeing. Up to the end of Q1, though, I think is a nice option for you if you're trying to kind of get your head around those quarters that have just gone. And it's sometimes so much easier in your head to go, right, in the last quarter, I got X amount of income and I got X amount of expenses. You'll have a gut feeling to what that figure's going to be, right? Because it was only the last quarter. When you start looking at cumulative, it's really difficult to go and get that gut feeling, is everything right here? And that sense check becomes more difficult. So me personally, I think that up to quarter ends is the way to kind of get that submission-y bit done. But you're always going to have an opportunity to see that kind of month end and look at it from there as well. Also, if you're below the 90,000 threshold, you do have the opportunity to use simplified reporting. Basically, it means it's going to take away all the complications around it and then just going to tell you what that 250 is going to be. And then it's going to go from there. Now, you can download this as a PDF and you can submit this to HMRC. Your requirement as an MTD user is to get that submission over to them before there. I would encourage you to go through and do a little bit of checking, a little bit of testing, a little bit of making sure that you're comfortable with those numbers and everything else. Someone like Boffix and the AAG group, we can help you with that and assist you with that. But if you're doing it yourself, the best thing to do is go into QuickBooks itself, make sure things are reconciled, make sure all the items are included, and then you're going to then have the ability to have that confidence. And I would run a report in QuickBooks itself, profit and loss report, for example, and compare and contrast. Because one thing that you do need to kind of get your head around is this preview tax mapping area. Now, as an accountant and bookkeeper, I deal with this day in, day in out. And I know this is going to be something that's a little bit confusing to people. But the idea would be that you have your name and where HMRC tax mapping is going to be. Now, in this area, we can't actually change or adjust anything. All we can do is see what these items are and where they've been put to. And sometimes that means that you're going to have to make changes to your categories just so they fit properly in the HMRC tax mapping area. You're going to have to make those judgment calls. You're going to have to kind of look into which one is right and which one's wrong. But at least you can see that, at least that transparency there, at least you're going to have the ability to be able to kind of go in and have a look at that information. It's going to be a really important kind of place to go, place to see. You can at any point click into any of these numbers and find out what they are. Now, there's a few things to bear in mind about what's being submitted here. This is being submitted on what's called an accrual basis, which basically means it's not just what's hit your bank account, it's what other items you may have put in there. And the biggest example I can tell you about is this turnover figure. If I click into this turnover figure now, it's going to take me to the report that tells me how it got to that £500. Great, we love that, that's a great idea. When it takes me to this idea here of this £500, it's telling me that this is an invoice. This is a £500 invoice to Apple Core Accountancy Limited, and it's classed as a debtor. What that basically means is at this point in time, that £500 hasn't been paid. That £500 hasn't hit my bank account. Now, that is the correct way of doing it. So I'm happy that it's kind of utilising that and bringing that forward. We like that. That's a good idea, right? Let's bring that in. But you need to be making sure you're not double counting any transactions at this point. For example, if that £500 was to be paid to me later down the line and put into my bank account, I really need to be careful, right? When that comes in, I need to match that transaction against the £500 invoice that's there to say that £500 has now been paid. If I was to take that £500 and put it against sales as well, I'm what's called double counting my transactions. And what that means then is that only am I saving £500 from an invoice, and that's correctly being accounted for in my my MTD submission, but I could then also be putting in the £500 that came through into my bank account. I've done a whole video on what matching looks like and how that works and everything else. So we've got plenty of content on how to kind of deal with it and how to and how to go through with it. Just from an MTD point of view, that's something that's going to be really, really, really important to make sure. Now, if you're a company or a business who just receives cash and you don't send any invoices, you're probably not going to have any issues with this, right? But if you are someone who sends invoices, wait for them to be paid, and then go through from there, you just need to be comfortable of how that's accounted for. And please, please, please don't end up double counting. And the best way to do that is to go over to that sales area, go to the invoices, look and see what's still overdue and not been paid yet. And at any point in time, you should have a feel for what these are. And if they're the ones that you go, oh, that doesn't sound right, I've already received that money, that's when you know that there's something not quite right. That's when you can go back to your banking area or whatever it's going to be, maybe reallocate that transaction that you might have had, and that's where then you can fix any of those issues. So it is what it is. We just need to know that there's a problem, and hopefully now you know there's a problem to be able to tackle it and to deal with it going through from there. Well, that's it. That's how MTD is going to work from you. My preference is do most of it on this phone and make sure you're kind of doing your day-to-day transactions in there. When it comes to making that filing or getting yourself set up for the first time, jump into the browser as I did there. Go through those steps of proving who you are, getting it all connected to HMRC and QuickBooks together, and then you're going to be in a great position to be able to get that filed and ready to go. My name's been Patrick. If this video has been any useful to you, then please, please, please use that like, subscribe button, all that sort of stuff to make sure it's going to be. Let me know in the questions below if you had any issues, problems or anything like that, or something you think you need to know more, and we can look at maybe putting some other videos together to assist you in your MTD journey. But thank you very much for watching. Thanks for seeing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.